Hey guys, welcome back to Jessin Reads Romance. I'm Jessin, and today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I'm excited for in 2023. Now that's a broad statement, all the books that I'm excited for. I know that some of the authors that I love and will just read anything that they say that they're going to publish, they haven't announced what they're writing for 2023. So there are some books that might even be my favorite books of 2023 that are not on this list, but that's just because they haven't been announced yet. Sometimes indie authors like to keep it close to the vest, and I really appreciate that. I'm actually going to start off this video by talking about some books that actually have not been announced yet, but I know that they're coming. I know that they're coming. Some of them don't have titles, but I'm just really excited. And the rest of the books, they will be in order of which they're going to be released. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, the first one that I'm excited about has not been announced, but I kind of stalked her on Twitter just to see, because it's been a year since she's last published in the series. But I'm very excited about the next Midnight in Scotland book by Elisa Braden. She's fast becoming one of my favorite historical authors, period. She's an indie historical romance author, and she really absolutely captivated me with the series, and then I went into her backlist and it was wonderful. But this series, Midnight in Scotland, it follows the McPherson brothers, and they are these huge burly Scotsmen, and every single book in the series is so completely different, and I'm really excited about book 4. I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that maybe it'll be Alexander that gets his book next, but it also, his book might be the last book. So I don't know. I'm very excited about that. She said it was going to be early 2023. Fingers crossed. No promises, but yeah, very excited about that one. Another book that hasn't been announced yet, but I know that it is going to be coming, is Zoe Draven's second book in her Brides of Kylor series. So she just recently released Desire in His Blood. It was one of my favorite books of the year. It was just such a good, fun sci-fi time. Okay, I love sci-fi romances. Anytime I have difficulty, like I'm in a reading slump or something, sci-fi always like shakes me out of it, and Zoe Draven is my top sci-fi author that I have read. I love her Horror King series, and I'm sure that this series is going to be a favorite. So this world actually is based on these creatures who are a combination of vampires, winged demons, and also berserkers. So it's just such a fun time, and I can't wait to see what other pairings she's going to have in the series, because the first one was a human and a Kylorian. I don't actually remember what they call themselves, the berserker demons that are really hot. So I don't know exactly if every single pairing is going to be a human and berserker demon pairing, but I really like that contrast, so I kind of hope so. But very excited whenever that book's gonna come out. Another historical romance author who is one of my favorites is Stacy Reed. She has not announced what she's going to be doing, at least not to my knowledge, and I'm not sure if there's going to be another Sinful Wallflowers book that she'll publish in 2023, or if she'll bring us another standalone like she did this past year for A Matter of Temptation. Like, that was a complete surprise. I had no idea that she was writing like a standalone novel, and it was one of my favorites of the year. So whatever Stacy Reed will get me in 2023, I'm freaking excited for it. Like, I will read anything this woman publishes because it's just amazing, and I'm obsessed with her. Now this next one, Pam Godwin has been teasing that she's been writing this trilogy secretly for a year. We have no idea what it's about. It's going to be a dark romance. That's all I know that she has posted on her Instagram. She wanted to keep things close to the vest. She didn't want pressure. She didn't want a pressure of a deadline, and I totally respect that. I think that a lot of authors are, especially indie authors, are pressured to publish fast. And also it has to be a lot of pressure when you're writing a series and people are shipping couples in the background. I can't imagine being an author listening to fans say that they want this, this, and this in the next book, and then you're in the middle of writing it and maybe you're second guessing stuff that you had already planned, because it's like, but what if the people want this? Like, they're saying they want this, but that's not what I had planned. Like, it has to mess with you. So anyway, I really respect the fact that she has said nothing about the series, but I'm very curious about it, and I'm wondering if it's going to be rapid release, because I do know that she has said she's writing the entire trilogy. Like, she's in the middle of writing the whole thing. Next, I'm just guessing that maybe it'll be released in 2023, because I don't see that there is a date that was teased for this to be published, and it might even be 2024, but I'm just gonna put it on there. The third Crescent City book, it has not been announced, the title hasn't been announced, but the way that House of Air and Breath ended on that cliffhanger, like, I need it. I need the next book in this series. I need it. And yeah, we have 4 houses, so I'm assuming there's gonna be 4 books, and maybe it'll be published sometime in 2023. We'll see. Okay, so now we're actually getting into books that have release dates. The first one on my list releases on January 5th. It's Where Waves Break by Julia Wolf. Now, I have read a couple of her books published under J. Wolf, which those are more new adult romances with characters that are still in high school, and I have read a couple of hers, but I haven't read any that she's published Julia Wolf, which I think that they're all more adult. And I was just scrolling Instagram the other day, and I saw that she did a cover reveal for this book called Where Waves Break, and I was like, yes, she has all these tropes. So these are the tropes that were listed, and I was sold. I was absolutely sold. So it says grumpy sunshine, single dad and nanny, soft dom, praise kink, and you guys know that I love Praise by Sarah Kate this past year. It was awesome. And it also says it's a former rock star turned grumpy mechanic. That's like my catnip. Like, yes, give me more. And apparently the heroine has had a crush on this hero since she was a teenager. So I'm just like, well, yeah. What more needs to be said? I'm very excited about this book. Then on January 17th, Alona Andrews just sent out in her newsletter after the release of Sweep of the Heart that she was going to be writing a novella in the Kate Daniels world again, and I'm very excited about it. It's called Magic Tides, and it says it's going to be a long novella. So whatever she'll give me, whatever they will give me, because they're a husband and wife writing duo, I'm very excited about. And she did release a brief synopsis, but I don't want to say anything just in case like someone's in the middle of reading the Kate Daniels series and you don't know how it ends. There's definitely gonna be spoilers in the synopsis, so like I don't want to say anything, but I'm very excited to be back in the Kate Daniels world. Now this one, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this one, and it's a new addition to this list because I have been compiling this list for the past couple of weeks, and I recently read Liz Tom Ford's Mile High hockey romance, and it absolutely blew me away. Thank you, Caitlin, for introducing me to this author and this book because it was amazing. And the second book in this series, which is called The Right Move, is releasing on February 7th, and it is between Ryan and Indy. I'm so excited for this book. We're teased a little bit in Mile High about this couple. Not that anything has happened, not that we know of, but Ryan is the twin brother of the heroine in the first book. And there was a moment in the first book where Indy, she was in a relationship that crashed and burned. And so she was at her friend's house, who she lives with her twin brother, Ryan. And the interactions between Ryan and Indy in that book were so funny and hilarious. She's such like a loud, boisterous character, and Ryan, it seems like he doesn't know how to handle her, and I can't wait to see what happens. I cannot wait to see what happens, so I'm very excited about The Right Move. Then the next one, of course, is Powerless by Elsie Silver, another new favorite of the year. This series, Chestnut Springs, absolutely has my heart, and I'm very excited that Powerless is going to be about Jasper. So Jasper is actually a friend of the two heroes in the first two books. He's a hockey player, and apparently this is going to be maybe a second chance romance between two friends who grew up together, and there's going to be a road trip. And I'm sold, absolutely sold. Anything that Elsie Silver publishes again, I'm so on board with it. And I don't remember if I mentioned on February 10th this book's coming out, and I'm just so excited that it's going to be early on in the year. Then on February 21st we have Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. I really enjoyed Things We Never Got Over. It was quite a long book, and I'm not sure if this book is going to be as long as the first one. Kind of hope it's not, because that was definitely one of the gripes that I had about the book, was that it was a little bit too long. But anyway, in Things We Hide from the Light, our hero is Nash. He's the twin brother of the hero from the first book, and they kind of had like a polar opposite personality dynamic going on in the first book. And Nash is this do-gooder, he's a cop, and he and his brother had lots of tension in the first book because of stuff that happened in the past and stuff. And his brother was a little bit, doesn't really do things by the rule, bad boy kind of thing going on. So anyway, I'm just very excited about Nash's story, and I'm not quite sure who he's paired with. But again, I just had a good time in the first book, so I will be looking forward to that one in February. Also on the 21st, The Counterfeit Scoundrel by Lorraine Heath is coming out. Now this is the first book in a new series that she is writing. It's called The Chessmen Masters of Seduction. And I'm kind of hoping there's going to be a chess element in there, because like I understand. So in the synopsis for The Counterfeit Scoundrel, it says the series centers around three heroes, Knight, Bishop, and Rook. So these are their nicknames. So I'm not quite sure if they have nicknames like this because they play chess. And it just reminds me of the Eloisa James series, The Desperate Duchesses, and there was like a whole thing surrounding chess in that series, and I really loved it. So I'm not sure if we're gonna have chess in here, but I'm very excited about this. this because the heroine is going undercover in this man's house because she's hired by this husband who suspects that his wife is cheating and he wants proof. So she takes a position in this guy's house that's rumored to be this woman's lover, and they fall for each other. I love it. I absolutely love it. So I'm very excited. She sounds like a strong heroine, and I just can't wait for that one. I love Lorraine Heath, another wonderful historical romance writer. Next is The New Guy by Serena Bowen, releasing on February 28th. Now, this is going to be another hockey romance, and Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy have written one of my favorite hockey romances of all time, Him. I just absolutely love that couple so much, so I kind of have high expectations for this one. I do. Every time I pick up an hockey romance, I can't help but compare it to Him. I really can't. So I'm going to be comparing The New Guy to Him, and hopefully it gives me the same feels. But so the pairing is between a new player for a hockey team in Brooklyn, and he hooks up with somebody who's actually living in his building and is also the new athletic trainer for that same hockey team. And that athletic trainer is also a single dad as well. So again, single dad, love it. But apparently it's a little bit of a forbidden romance, and I do believe the hero who plays on the hockey team, I think that he's not out. So excited to see what she does with that situation. Next is The Portrait of a Duchess by Scarlett Peckham. It's the second book in her Society of Sirens series. It's releasing on March 7th. Now, the first book in this series, The Rakess, I didn't enjoy that one. And that was the first book that I read by Scarlett Peckham. So it's like, well, why are you putting this on your most anticipated list? Well, I went into her backlist and I read a couple of her books, and I actually like those a lot better. And the premise for this one just really intrigues me. So I'm very willing to give this series as a whole another try. And besides, the cover is just freaking gorgeous. Like, it's giving all the greatest old school historical romance vibes that I love, and then just like the pops of color are just giving me life. So very excited about this one. But the heroine, Cornelia, she is going to receive an inheritance on the condition that she gets married. But what people don't know is that she's already been married, that apparently she's been married for the past 20 years. And her husband, who she hasn't seen in that time, is a duke. So, and I think he's also a horse trainer. I'm really excited about that situation, and I hope that I like it better than The Rakess, and I think I will. And this one, Mafia Target by Mila Finelli. This series has to be one of the most surprising mafia romances that I probably, on paper, I shouldn't have enjoyed at least the first two books as much as I did, but I really did. It was bonkers and everything that I didn't know I needed. Mafia Target, coming out on March 14th. I don't know if I said that. Mafia Target is going to be an romance. And the hero, Giulio, we see him in the first couple of books. And at the end of Mafia Madman, Mila Finelli gave a little teaser for Mafia Target, and I'm so excited that it confirmed who Giulio is going to be paired with. He's going to be paired with somebody who's literally contracted to kill him. His name is Alessandro Ricci. That teaser, I'm just saying. If you haven't read Mafia Madman already, you should totally read that, and also read the teaser for Mafia Target, because it has got me all types of excited. Next is Bewitched by Laura Thalassa. It's going to be released on April 18th, and this is the first book in a new trilogy that she's writing. And even though Laura Thalassa has historically been hit or miss for me, I'm still really excited about this new series. I think that after, her Four Horsemen series, which kind of like tapered off for me with enjoyment, like my enjoyment level just tanked on that series. But the premise for this one sounds really fun. The heroine is a witch, and apparently she survived this plane crash, and she discovers this tomb of this sleeping man, and she kisses him. So it has like a little bit of Sleeping Beauty quality. It also reminds me of a Cara Marie Moning book, Kiss of the Highlander, in which she also stumbles into a cave with a sleeping Highlander and kisses him, and he wakes up. But in this case, this witch kisses this guy, has no idea that apparently his name is Memnon the Curse, and she might have woken up this person who's going to bring destruction to the world. But of course, Laura Thalassa loves to write her forbidden romances, so I'm assuming that Memnon the Cursed is going to be this witch's hero. So we'll see how she pairs that dynamic. Then on April 27th, King of Pride, which is the second book in Anna Huang's Kings of Sin series. Very excited for this one. Another book that was not on my radar until recently because I only recently read Kings of Wrath, but I enjoyed it so much. And I'm really excited because book 2, King of Pride, is going to be an opposites attract romance. And we did get hints in King of Wrath for this couple, Kai and Isabel. They're complete opposites. Isabel is a little bit funky. She's like the cool girl, and they definitely come from two different, worlds, two different societies. So I'm excited to see what Anna Huang does with this couple. Now, next on this list, this just popped up on my radar, and it looked fun. And I do kind of want to read more fantasy. I said in a previous video in my book tag, New Year book tag, that I wanted to read more historicals and I wanted to read more fantasy books. And this one just kind of popped up on my radar, and it's called Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. And I've only read one book by Rebecca Yarros, so I don't have like a really good bead on her writing, but the premise of this story attracted me so much. So this is going to be out on May 2nd. So the heroine, she is college age, and she was expecting to go into to study to be like a scholar and stuff like that. But her mom apparently is a warrior, and she basically is forcing her to become a candidate in this sect that wants to become dragon riders. It's brutal, and apparently you either graduate or die. So I really like the premise that our heroine, she does not want to be this, and then she's forced to do it because of her mother. So I really can't wait to see this kind of fish out of water thing and see her succeed, because we're all going to be rooting for her. And the hero is hinted at being this very powerful, ruthless dragon rider who has a reputation already, named Zayden. So I'm excited. On May 9th, Grim and Barrett by Juliet Cross is releasing. This is going to be the final book in the Stay a Spell series, and I'm very excited. Of course, I'm biased because Juliet is my aunt, so there is quite a bit of bias going on in here. But oh God, this couple, Henry and Clara, from the very beginning, I remember when she was writing Wolf Gone Wild and she's creating these sisters, creating their characters, and immediately she knew who she wanted to pair Clara with. And when she wrote Henry, I was like, oh man, it's gonna be a long wait until they get together, because I love this opposites attract dynamic between Henry and Clara. He's a Grim Reaper. He's a broody emo boy with lots of tattoos, and Clara is this light and sunshiny. She's such an effervescent, bubbly personality, and they seem like they won't go, but the pining that you just sense from Henry is so much. It's so great, and I love it. So I'm very excited about that. So yeah, very sad that this is going to be the final book in the Stay a Spell series, but also it just frees Juliet up for new projects, and excited about those. On May 23rd, Harper St. George is releasing her next book in the Gilded Age Heiresses. This one is The Duchess Takes a Husband, and the heroine is she's an American duchess, and her pairing is with this guy who he sounds like he's a self-made man, and this is going to be a fake relationship, fake engagement, I do believe, between Camille and him, because he has the money, but he doesn't have the respectability. So I love those types of pairings. Now here's another new one that just kind of popped up on my radar just randomly. I don't even know. It popped up on my Goodreads and I was like, ooh, Greek mythology. So Psyche and Eros by Luna McNamara. I truly didn't need to know much more besides that this was a romance and it was a retelling of Psyche and Eros. I absolutely love Greek mythology. I'm a huge fan of Lore Olympus, which is the Hades and Persephone retelling. Yeah, that's all I really need to say about that one. I'm just really excited to see how closely are we going to follow this myth and what new elements that the author can bring to the story. Next is Sanctuary with Kings by Catherine Moon, releasing on June 20th. This is the third book in her, oh God, what is the series called? Tempting Monsters series. I have really enjoyed the books in this series so far. The Company of Fiends being my favorite one between the first two, because since this is a why choose romance, I really enjoy in this situation getting to know all the players, and I want them to have quality time being introduced to me. I want to fall in love with all of the characters. And that's a difficult thing to do in a novel because normally authors just have, you know, a couple, just two people that they are writing a story about them falling in love. But for Why I Choose, you know, way more characters to handle. And I really enjoyed the way that Catherine Moon did The Company of Fiends. It was much slower burn, very, very different characters. Also appreciate that each book in the series has different characters. And the heroine for this book is called Avanthia. That's all I really know. She's going to be paired with lots of monsters, and I'm excited to see what types of monsters Catherine Moon is going to introduce to this story, because she really has done some creative things with the types of creatures that she featured, and just excited about that. Next is The Summer Girl by Elle Kennedy. This is the third book in this series, and I haven't read the others, but the premise is that this is going to be like a friends to lovers, and of course I want to read more friends to lovers and cross my fingers that I'll find lots of good friends to lovers this year. I think it's really interesting because the heroine comes to this, you know, beach town for the summer because her grandmother's like selling her resort, and she's looking for a summer fling, and she sees this guy and she's like, he will be perfect. He actually turns her down because in his mind he's like, she would be more than a fling, and I can't just like hook up with her that one time. Like, she's the type of girl that you have more than a fling with. And they actually become friends. He does agree to help her find someone else to have a fling with, but then of course immediately like regrets that. So I'm down for that type of romance and anticipation. Resonance Surge by Nalini Singh. This is going to be the 22nd, I believe, book in the Psy Changeling series. This has to be the longest running series that I have read every single book in, and I still continue to read. I just absolutely love this world, and I will never not love it. Okay, maybe that's going too far. I'm sure eventually she's going to end the series, even though technically it's like in its second arc. It's still the Psy Changeling series. And this one is a bear changeling and a Psy pairing. And I'm very excited because I haven't reread Silver Silence as much as I've reread the other books in the series, but I do remember Silver Silence really enjoying the Russian bears. I love their community. They were such different changelings than the leopards and the wolves that most of the books are following, and it was really nice to like get away for a minute and see like a new community of changelings. So I'm really excited to go back to the bears because they were a fun time. Next is The Brood by Will and Ash, aka Devaney Perry, and I just absolutely love this small town Montana romance series. It has been a delight. It's just, they're such easy reads, and I've enjoyed all the books in the series immensely. I didn't even need to know the tropes to know that I wanted to pick this book up, but when I read the synopsis, I was like, yes, love it. So the hero is going to be giving up his guest room to his friend's little sister for the next 2 months, and she is 10 years his junior. So it's an age gap, forced proximity, best friend's younger sister romance, and I'm just like, just so happy about these tropes. So yeah. Oh, it's gonna be great. And then the final book that I do have on this TBR list is Necrosis by Amara Ray. It's coming out on November 13th, so latter part of the year. And this book is going to focus on Evangeline. This series is about a coven of witches. They're all half-breeds. They're kind of a little bit outcast in their witches community because witches are they're bigots in this world, most witches. At least the ruling coalition of witches, they're terrible. And they have looked down on this witch coven for being half-breeds. So Evangeline, her father was an angel and her mother was a witch. And anytime an angel procreates with, I guess, a non-angel, because I guess angels have to procreate with each other and make angels, but they have siren abilities. So Evangeline is not only a death witch, that's her power in the coven. They're all like an elemental witch. And then we have our life witch and our death witch. So Evangeline controls death. Excited to see more of that power. And she's also a siren. So I'm very excited about that. And her pairing is with an angel. And we haven't really seen angels that much in the series before, so very curious about this guy who if he follows the mold for the rest of the heroes in the series, he's not going to be a goody two shoes. So we'll see. We'll see what Amara Ray brings to the table for this one. Okay, that's all that I have on my list. It's not to say that these are the only books that I'm excited for in 2023, and I'm sure in a couple months from now I will be adding quite a few more to this list as well. But I'm just really excited. It's going to be a new year. Always seems like a fresh start with reading, and hopefully all these books will become new favorites, because that's what I'm crossing my fingers for. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe to get notified of any future videos that I do. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, life's better with little HEA. Bye guys.